our level, we do not want to go far from what is already existing in the country. So we have tried to salvage everything in the member state, and based on that one, we also went for the star type in terms of defining the efficiency on the equipment. Initially, they thought we were going to go to the bar type, but when we went to the member state, we said no, our member states are using this the star type, so there's no need for us to take the bar type like they are used in Europe. So this is what we are defining as star, and I think it's important to show it. So in a member state who want to develop, start to develop the map, the level, let's think that we are already developing this one, which we are going to develop at regional level. Now for the West African Clean Cooking Program, the training, we had a workshop on West African Clean Cooking yesterday in Plateau, so I'm not going to waste time on this one. We'll give you more time. And then what we're also doing now, with new approach, with new management, we're also working closely with African Union, the AFREC program. We are working closely with them, and since it was well ahead compared to other sub-regions. So we are trying to use our experience and AFREC and also share those experience for the other sub-regions. We have been helping them to develop the energy efficiency strategy. And we are very much, and remember, I mean, there's some couple of months ago, I mean, before the NFI meeting, we sent some questions for the member states, and we're very happy all the member states reply to those questionnaires. So in brief, that's what I have to say, and wait for your question. Thank you very much.
Dr. Charles, la présentation du programme de la CEDEAO. Et on a vu que parmi ces programmes, des programmes relatifs à l'efficacité des appareils. Donc la transition est retrouvée. Pour passer la parole à Madame Karine Rice Bala pour sa présentation. Elle nous parlera de transformation du marché vers des produits et services efficaces. Madame Rice, est-ce qu'on peut passer la présentation de Madame Rice?
I guess while we are waiting for the slides to be projected, I'll start with a short introduction. As already introduced by the moderator, I'm working for the United Nations Industrial Development Organization. Our headquarters is based in Vienna, Austria. We have different offices around the world. I would say the closest bigger office to here is based in Dakar. I work in the division of decarbonization and sustainable energy, and this is also my the portfolio I'm overseeing in sub-Saharan Africa, working on regional programs and projects all targeted towards industrial decarbonization, including industrial energy efficiency, energy efficient appliances, enabling program in different countries here. Our presentation. So our mandate at UNIDO is to support our member states in the journey to advance on inclusive and sustainable industrial development. And the access to sustainable energy is a key enabler for industrial development. So I think we all agree there is no industrial development possible if we do not have access to sustainable energy. And I'll skip the first slide because I talked about it already. So our priority areas of focus at UNIDO are really to support sustainable supply chains I've been listening yesterday and also today, and I heard that there is a very strong interest coming up more and more to develop the value chains for clean energy in the continent, moving away from being just an exporter of resources and climb up the value addition of industrial development in the region. And this is one of the mandates of CEDEAO. We are also working on limiting, so to say, the climate breakdown by using renewable energy and energy efficiency to reduce industrial greenhouse gas emissions. And one of the key focus areas of our new Director General is really to work on bridging the work that CEDEAO is doing to end hunger by cutting post-harvest losses and developing agribusiness value chains. And also for that, obviously, energy is a very important factor. Now looking at this interlink between industry, energy, and climate change, here, we can see that industry globally accounts for 40% of global GHG emissions and 1/3 of global energy demands. And if we look at this interlink now, the global primary energy demand by 2030 is expected to increase by 15%, and 87% is expected to come from non-OECD countries. So it is these emerging economies where the biggest increase of demand for sustainable energy is expected to come from. And therefore, we are working on a program, and this is what I'm going to introduce today, which we are calling the Industrial Decarbonization Accelerator, basically really to accelerate the transition of industries worldwide to a zero carbon economy. So all our programs and projects that we are doing together with member states are coming together in this accelerator programs. So that we don't only do individual activities, individual projects, but really try to bring this to scale. Activities in the industrial sector have a massive impact in CO2 emission reduction. And the Industrial Decarbonization Accelerator is this unit-led network of all the international initiatives that are working to accelerate that shift of industrial organizations, both large and small. So when I say industries, I'm not only talking about the large steel or cement manufacturers. We're also talking about the SMEs, the productive use activities, the small-scale industries. All of them have a very high potential for industrial energy efficiency, not only to cut on emissions, but really to make their businesses more competitive by cutting their production costs. So what does this include when we say we work on industrial energy efficiency or when we work on decarbonization? It includes, in particular, energy efficiency of industries. So where we work with governments on developing the decarbonization roadmap and on developing policies and incentive mechanisms that stimulate industries to invest in energy management systems, to invest in energy system optimizations. We also work on renewable energy and alternative fuels. A lot of industries do have the potential to produce renewable energy on site, or the industries have a lot of waste that can be used to produce both electricity and heat. And then I mentioned before the steel and the cement industry. We also have one work on those what we call hard to abate sectors that have the highest impacts on CO2 emissions when we decarbonize them. And we heard about green hydrogen and other innovative technologies, which obviously are here, particularly in the steel sector, have a very high impact. Where do we work? We work on industrial energy efficiency in more than 20 countries, I would say, but on having a very holistic decarbonization approach, I wanted to highlight 17 countries here. And with them, most of them we are together since many, many years. because industrial energy efficiency is not a once-off project. It's a journey, it's a process. It starts with building the capacity to put the policies in place, to have your auditors in the countries trained and certified so they can work together with the industries in implementing all these measures. So I think in the ECOWAS region, we can highlight that we have a project in Nigeria on industrial energy efficiency. We have a project since many years in Senegal. And I think we are also working in Ghana, obviously on industrial energy efficiency since quite some time. And now with ECOWAS, we are trying to develop a more regional approach. So it includes training, certification, and obviously know-how development, but also we need to focus on technology demonstration. As we all know, financing is an issue. So in all our projects that we are doing around industrial energy efficiency, we always have an element of technology demonstration where we are working directly with industries to also implement the measures, including technologies, and to set up financing schemes that make these technologies affordable. I'll just mention that obviously policy support, but a very tailored support to SMEs and SMEs, I think is very important, particularly in the ECOWAS region, where the landscape of industries of the private sector is very much focused on small to medium enterprises. And now I'm just showing you some pictures before I end my communication, because we also think it's very important that we always do good projects. In many of the projects, we have great results, but then it stays on the project results. I think it's time that we spread the word and take things to scale, and we roll out much larger projects to have really high impact. And this is what we are focusing on in this accelerator. We really have very intensive campaigns for industries. We are developing solution kits that industries can access for free. Certification, training and certification material, which is available for free. And all the case studies, every industry that's working with us, we are presenting them online where you can see what they did, how does this impact, how did it impact their operations, what was the benefit, what was the saving, and how did the industry benefit on embarking on this journey. And I think I mentioned many of these things. This is really just to show you this is all available. So it's not something new. What's new is that we are more and more rolling it out in countries in sub-Saharan Africa. This was traditionally something for countries with a very large manufacturing sector where you have high impact and you work with the industries. But now more and more we get requests to work with the Cote d'Ivoire to develop a project, and in many other countries. The pioneer, and this is what I just want to highlight because here you see some of the impacts, what such a project can do. The pioneer for industrial energy efficiency on the continent was South Africa. I'd say also Egypt, but I took the example of South Africa, where we started in 2010 with the journey on industrial energy efficiency. And if you look into the small boxes, in the first phase, the energy saved was already over 2 terawatt hours, and financial savings were over 90 million US dollars in the first phase of this project. And if you now look over the 12 years, because it's really a long-term intervention, the savings, if you look just at the financial savings, it was 280 million that these industries saved on energy costs and production costs. It made them much more competitive in the national, but also in the international markets. So I think we always use our experts in South Africa, also in Nigeria. We are working with our South African experts to establish this twinning, the lessons learned that other countries in Africa have gained over the past 10 years. Now we will have experts already in Ghana, very soon in Nigeria, that can then be integrated in the more regional approach. So I think I'll stop here. And I will not going to do these projects, but you will have them then online. And these are just my contact details.
Merci, Madame Rice. Vient de nous parler de cette activité de l'ONU, différentes initiatives, les différentes initiatives dans le domaine de l'industrie. Je pense que la CEDEAO pourrait vraiment profiter de toutes ces expériences-là de l'industrie, parce que même si le secteur industriel c'est maintenant que ça se prépare à faire en sorte d'éviter que le secteur industriel soit trop dominant en énergie. Après Madame Rice, je vais passer la parole à Monsieur Denis Ario pour nous parler de son retour d'expérience sur le programme d'efficacité énergétique dans l'éclairage et les appareils électroménagers en Afrique de l'Est et australe. Monsieur Denis, vous avez la parole.
Thank you, moderator. I'm Denis Ariho from the East African Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, which is a sister organization equally for which is called YAPI. So I'm going to talk about the lessons learned on energy efficient lighting and appliances in the East and Southern Africa. It is very important that appliances have a very important role they play in the household sector, in the businesses sector, commercial and industrial, because they are the ones which make us use the energy for the different services and can also help us boost our incomes. And also, once we go energy efficient, then that means we can also save energy. The East African community and the SADC regions have very low education rates, with a regional average of 22% and 48% respectively. There is a growing population. The way the population is growing in East and Southern Africa is growing so much that the demand for energy for lighting and appliances is expected to increase in the next years. So if you don't consider energy efficiency for these appliances, so the demand is likely to over increase and also result increase in greenhouse gas emissions. So the rationale for the ELA project was based on the barriers that we are seeing in the region. First of all, there is no common policy framework. Find the different countries are doing things differently. Even the markets are focused at the national level. So you find in the end, we end up having porous borders where very poor quality and inefficient products move from one country to another without regulation. So the challenge of enforcement and local testing, where many of the countries do not have the testing capacity, and the level of awareness and also capacity on energy efficiency is low. Access to finance for energy efficient projects is also quite low, and limited skills. And we have a very small private sector in the energy efficient lighting and appliances space. Another challenge is business models. Business models for energy efficiency. You find actually many of the service providers do not have very well robust business models that will support the deployment of energy efficient lighting and appliances. So there are quite a lot of benefits for investing in energy efficient lighting and appliances. You are able to protect your markets from inferior products. You are able to create jobs for many people. And also there are a lot of savings that are obtained both at household level, business and institutional level. And then the grid is also supported. We expect to have grid reliability because the demand, the peak demand is reduced. Because the demand for energy reduces, so there's no much stress on the grid. And also another opportunity is we have a reduction in greenhouse gas emissions. So it is very important to work at regional level, so regional collaboration. So at where there are challenges at national level can be able to be solved holistically. And also when the private sector, even from both at local and regional level, once there are same standards, same policies in the region, then they are able to know that they have a big market. So those who are selling energy efficient products and offering energy efficient services are able to enter that market and transform it. So it eliminates trade barriers, unlocks economies of scale, even issues of affordability because of the big market. The prices of goods and services are able to reduce. Monitoring, verification, and enforcement becomes easier because you can be able to test products in one country and they are accepted in another. And it becomes easier to plan compliance planning for both development of standard and also implementation. The ERA project, which is the energy efficient lighting and appliances project, promotes vibrant and sustainable markets for energy efficient lighting and appliances in East and Southern Africa. It is implemented by United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, with funding from the Swedish government through the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency, SEEE, and working hand in hand with the East African Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, YAPRI, and SADC Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, SAP. The project focuses on 4 areas. And one is on the market development and business support for the private sector, so that they can be able to deliver efficient and high quality products and services. And the project also looks at having a conducive policy environment through having regionally harmonized minimum energy performance standards, compliance frameworks, labels, and among others. And then also it has an aspect of capacity building, especially on policy and regulatory framework for energy efficient lighting and appliances. Also focuses on testing and enforcement. And then also there's also a need of energy service business models. The project also works on that. And lastly is on the awareness raising on the benefits. We realize that actually the level of awareness in energy efficiency in the sub-Saharan Africa is quite low. So at the moment, the project is working in East and Southern Africa, but now it's going to extend to the ECOWAS region. So in the near future, this project will be operating in 36 countries. The key stakeholders in the project, we have the SADC and PSC secretariats, together with their subsidiary bodies like the power pools, Southern African Power Pool and East African Power Pool, and then also the regulators, ministers of energy, environment, and trade, standard bodies, testing organizations, private sector organizations, and also producers of household and industrial appliances. These are the manufacturers, also the ones who do importation, and then energy service companies. It is very important that this project is working with the regional centers, YAFRI and SAFRI, and it has been able to create a great impact in the region. The project, when we look at energy efficient lighting and appliances, it actually applies in almost most of the sustainable development goals. Most in every aspect, almost of the sustainable development goals, appliances have an impact. So if they become energy efficient, we can get so many benefits for our people. The key milestones of the project, one is on the policy and standards development, where the regional minimum energy performance standards for lighting were adopted. They were developed and adopted by the ESC region and the SADC. In SADC, they were adopted in April 2021, and in the ESC, July 2022. So I can say that now, if you want to invest in this area of lighting, there's only one standard. After they are all similar standards, both for SADC and ESC, so you can be able to have that big market. And the project is also in the advanced process in the development maps for cooling appliances. These are the refrigerators and air conditioners, and the project is working in collaboration with UNEP, United for Efficiency. The project has established regional technical committees at ESC level and SADC level, and also the national technical committees. So the regional technical committees working with the national technical committees. The project has also developed the regional compliance framework. This provides guidelines for the enforcement of standards. Because many of our standards in Africa are just developed and remain on paper. So this framework gives guidance on who does what, which key stakeholders, which institution should take lead. If you talk of a product registration system, who should do that? The label. So this framework already for the SADC region, it has been developed and adopted, and also in the ESC region, the national consultation down. It's about soon it will also be adopted. The project also developed the green public procurement guidelines to support the public procurers, especially government departments, government ministries, departments, and agencies, to support them as they make decisions of procurement to procure energy efficient appliances. So it is an encouragement for the member states as we do procurement, don't focus on the cost. We need to focus also on the quality and energy efficiency. And then the project is also supporting the development of the ESC regional energy efficiency policy. You can see in the ECOWAS already that policy. So in the ESC, we also have a draft and a national consultation is ongoing in the ESC partner states. And so the project is working with the regional centers. And what the project supports also the testing capacity, where it procured portable lighting testing equipment for 21 countries in the ESC and SADC region, and is also capacitating 3 regional reference labs in the East ESC and SADC region, that is Zambia, Mozambique, and Uganda. Then next. So there is also another aspect where the project has achieved the launch of the e-learning platform, where we train the different stakeholders in energy efficient lighting and appliances. And this has 5 modules, one which is on general introduction, then another on cooling, lighting, productive use, and lastly, market development. So this is ongoing, and all the different stakeholders are invited to participate, and the link is in 1 minute. The project has also done a number of studies, one on cooling, lighting, and productive use, which you can be able to access. So generally, if you look at the productive use study, there is a very big market for productive use of energy appliances in the ESC and SADC applications. And the project also supports the private sector through the technical assistance and the co-financing facility, where the private sector companies are demonstrating energy performance contracting business model, energy as a service, among others. And already 8 companies are being supported by it. And the project also does a lot of awareness on energy efficient lighting and appliances. Thank you.
Nous allons passer maintenant la parole à Dr. Ina pour le mot là, pour nous parler d'efficacité énergétique et climatique.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My presentation will focus on sustainable cooling system challenging in sub-Saharan Africa. So first of all, very quickly to introduce to what is the International Institute of Refrigeration, which has been founded in 1908. It is an independent intergovernmental science technology-based organization, which objective is to worldwide disseminate knowledge and transfer knowledge all refrigeration technology and uses. Our 3 main domains are food quality and safety from firm to consumer, conforming home and commercial buildings, healthcare products and services, low temperature and liquefied gas technology, energy efficiency, and the use, safe use of non-odor depleting and low global warming refrigerants. No? Okay. And as mentioned, we are intergovernmental. We've got 59 member countries, 16 from African member country, and 6 from the ECOWAS zone. We've got more than 950 corporate and private members, and we've got more than 300 experts, which are our commission members in cooperation with various international organizations. So what we do is a refrigeration information network adapted to your needs. It's got the free database, which got more than 110,000 references, technical papers, and scientific papers. We've got the International Journal of Refrigeration, which is the best peer-reviewed scientific journal in the field. We've got guide and course online and on site. We've got information note for decision makers. You will see some of my slides. You will see a lot of images of information notes, which are on open access on our website that you can consult. And we've got also professional directories, like the expert directories, the laboratory directories, and the International Dictionary of Refrigeration. We've got monthly newsletter. We've got series of conferences per year. And also we're involved in research and development projects with United Nations, countries, and European Union Fund within our network in Europe, Asia, and Africa. So quickly, and you could see that the images I was mentioning to you, we've got some of our information where you can find all this information, where it's been stated that refrigeration represents around 8% of the global greenhouse gases emission in CO2 emission. 35% due to the leakage of potable refrigerant, and 62% are due to the energy consumption and to run the refrigeration system and also the transport. Refrigeration accounts about 20% of worldwide electricity consumption, and the demand of refrigeration could double by 2050. This includes also air conditioning, which is a major impact. Very soon, it will be released the information note on air conditioning, the air conditioning impact. Extending the cold chain is necessary and good for health and also for the environment. But we need to improve it, including the air conditioning, to reduce the environmental impact if necessary. So it's got two major issues: the energy use to run a refrigeration system and also the type of refrigeration that we are using. And at the moment, the refrigeration system will remain predominant in the near future. So what are the consequences? Is the environmental impact as electricity is mainly generated by fossil fuel. The infrastructure impact as the electricity needs will increase. There will be some impact on costs. So we need to make some measures, like example for sub-Saharan Africa, which includes passive cooling, evaporative cooling, labeling, eco-design, renewable energy. I will describe them in the next slides. So first of all, the refrigerant, the chlorinated gases, the chlorinated gases destroy the stratospheric ozone layout. Okay, now they are banned in Europe and will come in developing countries thanks to the Montreal Protocol. But it's got one problem: the banks. What are we going to do? How are we going to destroy those gases that are not used anymore? But those gases, as well as chlorinated gases, HFCs, are generated total greenhouse gases. So we've got the amendment Kigali at the worldwide level, and the Article 5 we need to phase out. So most of the countries have signed the amendment Kigali. So in terms of energy efficiency, reducing the refrigeration needs with similar effects. We've got various solutions like the passive cooling, but as I mentioned, we've got some information notes that will be accessed on our website. It's got an information on passive cooling. And we need to do the prevention and reduction of heat gain in terms of insulation, orientation of cooling, and the plating. We've got EDC dissipation, like cooling in the ground or night ventilation, radiation cooling toward the sky, and evaporating cooling. So it's got various solutions. Also, the energy of more general system is not only air conditioning, but we've got the district, the central cooling. Factories also, we need to optimize the cooling and the heating needs, and use also waste heat or cooling. The energy efficiency of refrigeration system of this component depending on the refrigerant. We've got also the leveling. It's got, as we mentioned before, it's got the minimum energy performance standard for air conditioner and refrigeration, which are in about that the ECOWAS are currently harmonizing. But all this we need investment which are costly, such as the installation of space facilities. We've got various publications concerning energy efficiency of refrigeration system. This is an example of project that we've been involved with Pineco, where you've got some Pineco gesture in order to reduce the energy consumption of air conditioning. But this is applied to overseas French department. You can, where you've got some videos that explain some simple gesture out with the energy consumption of air conditioning system. But we could apply also renewable energy. We've got various ones. It will be the end of project 2. It's got some transitional energy, like energy or LNG. We've got some hydrogen, biogas, wood, but mostly the refrigeration can use electricity. But we've got also some of the wind energy, solar energy, energy thermal and storage, We've got the solar cooling also. We've got information that will be released very soon, or it's already on the website. And also we need to take into consideration the refrigerant, like to use low global warming potential refrigerant, okay? And but by first of all reducing the leakage, also reducing the refrigeration charge into the system, global warming potential refrigerant will progressively, some of them disappear, but we've got some transition, okay, like using low global refrigerant, but some of those refrigerant has got some restriction, or like such CO2, where it's got high pressure, which is toxic, where it's got an investment cost, ammonia, hydrocarbon, which are inflammable, ammonia toxic, but still we need some national and local regulation to be evolved, and also the technician engineer should be trained for the purpose through the national association. So my conclusion is increasing the need in refrigeration capacity, increasing environmental and energy constraint, training and updating the information are needed, and the institute would help with all the publication and services. Want to become member, you can go to the website, and I wanted to show a video of a project that's been funded by the European Commission. If they can display the video of Sophia, we apply natural refrigerant combined with thermal and PV systems in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa. It's a video of 1 minute.
Access to green energy and clean water is still a challenge for many health centers in remote areas of Africa. The Sophia project, funded by the European Horizon 2020 program, is developing sustainable cooling, heating, and clean water solutions for rural and remote hospitals. The Sophia teams are developing 2 container solutions. Modular, adaptable, and powered by solar energy, these units can be easily integrated into existing infrastructures. Using natural refrigerants, the Sophia solar cooling container will provide low and very low temperature storage of blood plasma and sensitive drugs, cooling of medicines, vaccines, and food. Thanks to photovoltaics, solar thermal collectors, and Sheffield reflectors, the Sophia water container will provide safe drinking water and pure water for medical purposes, steam and hot water. PV method, a 100% solar-powered mobile unit, is designed as a multi-purpose mini health station. The software systems will be installed and tested in 4 rural hospitals in remote areas of Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Malawi, and Uganda. Local companies will be involved in the installation of the software systems, and they will benefit from the knowledge exchange and training activity. This will promote the replication of the software technologies and create new opportunities. Software technologies will enable African populations to sustainably improve their quality of life.
Thank you very much. So if you like to have more information about the Sophia project, please, we've got a presentation into the women and youth session, and also we've got some brochure into the I2EI stand near the exhibition. Thank you very much.
Merci, docteur, pour cette information. La récupération. Nous allons passer maintenant la parole à Omar Ni, il a 10 minutes pour parler de la perspective.
Je vais essayer d'être convaincant. Je vais essayer de bien mettre en lumière parce que la secteur dans lequel déjà moi, je pense donc aujourd'hui, dans une économie extrêmement productive, par des facteurs il y a des crises majeures, il n'y a pas de globalité, mais elles ont été à certaines questions contre les crises dans les industries. C'est plus l'activité de cela est valable pour la métier. Donc, s'intéresser à des choses c'est clair, c'est voir comment générer des économies substantielles des actifs énergétiques. Donc, voilà, on fait un petit peu j'ai commencé ici par une déclassification. On parle beaucoup de déclassification. On va essayer d'expliquer avec des exemples de façon. C'est simplement la capacité à générer une sobriété pour un système de par le il y a 15 ans. C'est un ratio entre la puissance absorbée au niveau électrique et la puissance générée sur le plan grâce à ce ratio, on arrive à déterminer la performance, la capacité d'un système à être sombre et énergiquement. Alors, il s'agit donc d'industriel, je ne suis pas industriel, mais service utilise des produits des industriels et d'essayer de les vendre aux industriels dans les produits d'investissement. Donc, l'idée, c'est d'accompagner les clients industriels à trouver des solutions qui ont des solutions techniques pour réduire à la fois leur consommation énergétique et leur impact financier, améliorer leur impact carbone. On recherche à avoir ce qu'on appelle un meilleur contrôle de performance, carrière l'appel PRAԻA, indicatif d'appellation, pondération permettant de mesurer la capacité à adapter un appareil, quel qu'il soit, à modérer son impact. Alors, l'idée d'accélérer le processus de transformation industriel, ça part de l'état des lieux, le bilan existant, avec des installations extrêmement conservatrices dans l'énergie, il faut de la sobriété de leur valeur, de l'efficacité, et l'idée c'est, quelqu'un l'a évoqué hier, développer une part importante de renouvelables, c'est-à-dire de trouver des productions de l'exploitation ou de récupération, soit avec des générateurs solaires. J'aime bien ce que Madame la directrice générale de vous présenter. C'est une SEEE, et le renouvelable comme générateur électrique permettant de faire fonctionner des systèmes solaires c'est tout à fait en phase avec le texte. Ça me parle. Alors, il me paraît aussi à ce stade important, il me paraît important que on va le dire, c'est pas de faire un coup sur le droit, il faut simplement qu'on comprenne que le principe du droit est très simple, hein, c'est en face de concession, il y a un liquide, un flux d'objets qui circule en vase clos, dans un circuit fermé, qui fait passer le gaz d'objet d'un état à l'autre. Alors, nous me demandons pas pourquoi. Par contre, par magie, quand vous faites passer le gaz d'un état à l'autre, vous avez un changement de température. Et c'est ça, un génie temporaire. Alors, le génie, ça a été de faire comprendre que grâce à ces propriétés, refroidir, dissiper de la chaleur. Je vais passer très vite. Voilà, on va voir ensemble un système de réfrigération. Il y en a d'autres, hein, ce n'est pas les seuls, mais vous avez des augmentations et des augmentations. Il y a d'autres composantes dans ce type de. Alors, moi, maintenant, dans la problématique. Aujourd'hui, la problématique, c'est que nous avons besoin. L'Afrique a des besoins. Dans mon pays, le Sénégal, il y a des bâtiments on va déjà dire, c'est l'industrialisation, l'accélérer, le Covid a montré à ce pays, à quelqu'un qui sont fragiles et dépendants. Donc, il y a des besoins qui sont accrus. Quand vous avez des besoins qui s'accroissent, vous avez forcément des besoins énergétiques, donc, d'un point de vue commercial, donc, une consommation accrue. Et là, comment arriver à concilier ces besoins d'industrialisation, de développement, avec les bonnes âmes qui nous vivent comme d'autres, c'est comme ça, il faut être fort, donc, on veut plus de suite en Afrique, et on veut également moins d'impact. Donc, on a des solutions qui sont au-delà de chaque aspect technique. Donc, c'est une démarche. On veut toujours, dans le cadre de cette problématique, on nous demande sur le plan médical quelques données, qui dépendent de la Chine, de l'Europe, et de l'État. Mais aussi, il faut être c'est contraire au plan énergétique. Il y a une sorte de comptabilité entre les besoins d'être indépendants, les besoins industriels, dans des secteurs comme la pharmacie, et les problèmes énergétiques. Voilà. Souvent, il est temps, on a et puis continuer à importer de la question de Belgique. Alors, le chocolat avec la caro, bien ici, de l'Afrique, dans la culture mondiale. Mais on va le faire, voilà, le problème, on va le faire de manière plus responsable, forcément un peu. Après, les serveurs, c'est les gars qui ont essayé d'avoir mis en place un système calculateur. On est là aussi des phénomènes d'énergie. Il faut pouvoir exploiter ces serveurs-là. Alors, ce que je vous ai montré, les 4 derniers slides, c'est pas anodin. C'est justement l'application. C'est qu'il y a un gros besoin en froid, que ce soit les serveurs comme ici, l'agro-industrie, la pharmacie. D'ailleurs, en général, là, vous avez la technologie, etc. Donc, le froid est partout et il faut en même temps préserver. Donc, on a réenfermé. Aujourd'hui, on a ce contexte d'inflation de 20 personnes. On demande également une maîtrise de l'électricité. Voilà. Il y a quelques solutions. Alors, comment vous pouvez avoir sur le plan technique, il y a des solutions. Et les places que vous en parlez, je vais les évoquer aujourd'hui. Et ça fait des molécules, c'est bien de rentrer d'un coup. C'est parti pour un client, mais aussi un dealer, à remplacer avec à vitesse variable, qui permet d'avoir, de moduler la puissance de compresseur, mais également l'énergie absorbée en fonction de la demande. Mais il a fallu user de tout le talent du persuasion pour accepter, faire accepter à nos clients un cycle non négligeable en lui disant durant un capex élevé, mais en fait, c'est un retour sur l'investissement là. Voilà. Après, il va finir de ma travail pour ça. Il a accepté, plus en plus la convaincre de venir. Au niveau conception des condenseurs, je pense que le comité de tout bas, mais pas des lettres sont doublées de manière à permettre un meilleur échange thermique et donc à générer davantage l'isolation des circuits avec des matériaux de qualité, lesquels les constructeurs, les fabricants de qualité s'appuient de manière à pouvoir faire également des gains en termes de rendement. La récupération de calories qui permet de faire à la fois du froid, mais également du très de l'eau dans des hôtels, des pensées d'énergie pour pouvoir taper de l'eau, tout simplement. Pour les chambres froides, des panneaux de service. Cela, évidemment, technique, le respect de certaines normes d'installation et de maintenance, j'insiste sur la maintenance, et aussi la mise en place par les États, malheureusement, ça fait des coûts de prime, dispositifs d'aide à l'investissement. Voilà. Pour ça, il n'y a pas le temps de présenter. Alors, voilà, plus ou moins de manière imagée et ramassée. Vous avez l'avant, vous avez ce que vous pouvez avoir. Avant, ce sont des lieux et des technologies avec un compétence faire aussi faire des clients extrêmement fiables, extrêmement très énergiques. Donc, il n'y a pas des systèmes beaucoup plus modernes et pas dépendants avant. Il y a une modernisation à envisager, des investissements à faire, c'est vrai, mais avec des efforts aussi en matière de dimensionnement. Là, je vais parler de formation, des efforts en matière de lumière, d'isolation, on doit avoir la culture de la même chose. Cela n'est pas le cas aujourd'hui. Nous essayons de commencer à activer. Voilà. Et puis, pour faire de tester la structure de base, s'il n'y a pas de contrôle infrastructure, tout cela restera à l'aide.
Merci beaucoup, M. Omar-Ndi. Voilà, en quelques slides, c'est presque un audit technologique issu des installations industrielles de froid. Quand on sait que la plupart de ces bâtiments, quand on sait aussi l'impact de la consommation des bâtiments sur la partie de l'électricité, etc. Et le bilan effectif de l'État. Il y a de quoi s'approcher si nous allons passer maintenant à l'expérience du Ghana, qui est vraiment notre champion de la CEDEAO en matière de formation du marché des appareils tels que les compacteurs, les lampes, les réfrigérateurs. On va lui passer la parole. Ghana. Je voudrais pouvoir profiter à tous les pays. Il faut savoir que l'année dernière, la Côte d'Ivoire, nous, du chef de Ghana, en stage, nous faisons ce type de la
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. I'm going to just as you said, present Ghana experience. But let me start by saying that things do not happen by chance, but they are forced to happen. In the electricity value chain, what we don't pay much attention to is the end user. But whatever happens at the end user stage has a rippling effect on distribution, transmission, and eventual generation. So if you want to have a way of regulating how often you add on to your generation capacity, strengthen your transmission and distribution so as to minimize losses, then you cannot lose attention on the end user. And that is where I'm going to focus my discussion. In 2005, Ghana decided to chart a path that will make the economy an energy efficient economy, because we could project that the population will grow, disposable income will also go up, and people will start looking for ways to be comfortable. And all these have impact on electricity consumption. So we selected 3 major appliances for various reasons. We selected lighting, refrigerators, and air conditioners. We selected lighting because of its penetration rate. Refrigerators were also selected because of penetration and consumption rate, because refrigerators run 24/7. And finally, we selected air conditioners because of the high consumption and the fact that the impact on business profitability, and also government pays most of the bills when it comes to AC. So these were the underlying reasons for which these appliances were selected. We made market interventions in 2 of them, that is lighting and refrigerators. We did a lighting retrofit in 2008. We were left with incandescents, which is high energy consuming appliances by our colonial masters. But with time, we could no longer afford to provide the energy that would light all those incandescents. So we changed from CFL. The market intervention that was made was that government provided $15.5 million to import 6 million CFLs and distributed SEEE for free in exchange of the incandescent. The result was that we made a savings of 124 megawatts peak load saving, and that solved the problem of brownout, blackout, transformer overload, and what have you. So with that encouragement, we tackled refrigerators. Before the laws on regulation of refrigerators were passed, Ghana was a dumping ground, if you allow me to say that, for refrigerating appliances. Those used, obsolete, discarded, and unwanted fridges in Europe all find their way to Ghana, and it commanded about 80% of the refrigerating appliance market. So it was terribly bad. And on the average, each was consuming 1,200 kilowatt hours a year, compared to 250 in Europe and then 400 in the US. You realize that those of us who did not have the energy were rather wasting it. So that is why we decided to make a market intervention to speed up the upscale of usage of new and efficient refrigerating appliances in Ghana. So this is a graphical representation of the outcome of the lighting retrofit that we made. The figure you have on your left is before the retrofit, and the figure on your right is after the retrofit, and it is representing the load curve of Ghana. We succeeded in making it flat. Instead of the load curve peaking at 6 p.m. That is how our load curve looks like. It peaks at 6 p.m. It means that the problem is not with industry, it is not with commerce, but the problem is with domestic consumption. And this is the result of the refrigerating appliance market. The red bars represent used importation of used refrigerating appliances. So you realize that before 2012, basically every refrigerator that you found in Ghana was used, imported from Europe and elsewhere. But as soon as the laws kicked in, then the used appliances gave way to the new one. So you see the green, I'm very bad with colors. So the other one, apart from the red, represents the new and efficient refrigerating appliance. I copied this pen, the figure on your right. It was once presented by an American energy minister. America has a similar graph, and that is what we also strive to do. And the simple explanation is that in Ghana now, regardless of the size of the refrigerator, you see consumption coming down. I can have the light point. The light is not coming. So the line that you see it steep diving down is energy consumption. The orange line is size of refrigerating appliances, and the bottom, the bluish line, is price. So you realize that if you do standards and labeling, it is not absolutely correct that it will affect prices. Eventually, competition pushes prices down, and then consumption will also be pushed down, and volumes will remain the same, and this enhances consumer welfare. To be able to help consumers to differentiate between genuine label and fake labeling, we have this app both on Android and on iOS. You can try it and download the certified appliance app. Consumers who have this app on the floor of purchase in the shop, you just consult this app and you key in the model number of the appliance that you want to buy and all the details, including consumption, refrigerant, how much you are going to pay in monetary terms by running it for a year. All those information will be there. If the label is fake, the app will tell you that it is fake. And there's a trigger to the office that somebody has entered a model number, which is fake. And then we will do a follow-up. We have done some institutional energy efficiency, a low-hanging one, which is the installation of capacitor banks. And this is what we use as a teaser for the industry to start looking at industrial retrofitting. Regardless of how much money you invest in retrofitting, the payback is very short. By the application of MEPS, standards and labeling, Ghana has joined the community of nations that have been able to decouple economic development from energy consumption. The business as usual is that as you develop, your consumption also goes up. But if you apply energy efficiency, you realize that your economy will grow and then your consumption will decline. The overall benefits of standards and labeling. We have saved for the past 10 years, 11,365 gigawatt hours. On the average, every year, we save about 480 gigawatt hours, which is enough to power the whole of PRAIA. So you don't pride yourself in how much you are able to generate, but you need to pride yourself in how much you are able to save. Refrigerators are now consuming less than 200 kilowatt hours a year from the 1,200. consumers are saving between $80 and $100 a year, which is enough to replace refrigerators every 5 years. And that savings is enough to put a child to school in Africa, especially the girl child. And the benefits is spread across, everybody is a beneficiary. What has happened is that now you have the new phase of appliances and the old one is phasing out because we have brought in 17 more appliances onto the existing trade, and enforcement kicks in November 2 this year. And all these things that you see there, I think it's not only limited to Ghana. It cuts across the entire African continent where used appliances are dumped on us. We are in a hurry to get out of this problem. And that is how come we have gone the standard and dividend way. Thank you very much.
Si vous cette belle expérience, partage d'expérience, j'espère que de la CEDEAO, nous allons terminer avec un intervenant en ligne qui est Oladipo du Nigeria. Il est coordonnateur national des projets d'efficacité énergétique dans l'industrie. Il a 2 à 3 minutes à son intervention.
Thank you, distinguished participants. I am to give an overview of. I think you can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I am to give an overview of the projects currently going up in Nigeria. The project is going to run for 4 years, and we are just at the middle of the 4 year. The project is improving Nigeria industrial energy performance, resource efficiency, cleaner production through programmatic approaches and the promotion of innovation in clean technology solutions. The objective of the project is to accelerate the adoption of industrial energy efficiency and resource efficiency cleaner production under the wide umbrella of resource efficiency and cleaner production, best practices and innovative approaches with selected small, medium, and large-scale industrial enterprises in Nigeria. The project is sponsored by Global Environment Facility and supervised by UNIDO. It has several implementing agencies, and the project targets beneficiaries are the relevant government ministries and enterprises, industrial manufacturing associations, engineering consulting-based industry and commercial and industry enterprises. Then we have training and technical assistance provider. The institutional arrangement of the project is that we have Jeff as the donor, UNIDO as a supervisor and manager. We also have a national steering committee. Then we have implementing agencies. The implementing agencies include Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, who is in charge of secretariat and directly in connection with the industrial sectors. We also have Federal Ministry of Environment that is in charge of resource efficiency and cleaner production, where we have Energy Commission of Nigeria, who is in charge of industrial energy efficiency. Then we have some critical stakeholders who are also contributing to the implementation of the project, such as the ECOWAS Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency. We have Standard Organization of Nigeria, who is also in charge of standards because of the ISO 50001 and ISO 14,000 series employed in the implementation of this project. We also have some selected universities in Nigeria that cut across the whole set of Nigeria. We have University of Lagos, University of Kano. We also have EFRU, the Federal University of Petroleum Resources. Then we have University of Lagos. They are for sustainability of this project. They will develop a curriculum for IEE and RCP, and this will enhance the sustainability of the project. The target group for this project are basic iron and steel and fabricated sector. We also have petrochemical sector. We have food and beverage sector. We have textile, wearing and apparent leather and footwear sector. We also have wood and wood products, including furniture. The regions of intervention of this project is as follows. We have region 1, which comprises, which is southwest of the country. And we have industrial areas such as Ogun State, Lagos State, Oyo State. Then region 2, we have the south part of the country with the industrial region or industrial hub in Sapele, Warri, and Benin. We also have region 3, which is the southeastern part of the country. We have Onitsha, Port Harcourt, Aba. Then the last region, which is region 4, comprises of Abuja, Kaduna, and Kano. There are 5 elements employed in this project. The first one is environment. It has to do with the reduction of environmental footprint of business sector. Then we have production efficiency, increase in resource productivity and reduction of operational and environmental compliances cost of the business sector. Then the third one is a policy and institutional arrangement, which include implementation and enforcement of policies, a regulation conducive to industrial energy efficiency and resource efficiency, cleaner production, and assistance of strong custodians of IEE and RCP advocacy at national level. Then we have technology. Improvement of the national innovation system to ensure efficiency, transfer, and replication of EST and sustainable product development. We also have finance. Availability of opportunity to finance IEE and RCP related projects within industries.
You have 1 minute.
Okay. Then we have, the project has about 6 components. And the 6th one is monitoring and evaluation. We have achieved some milestones, which include deployment of resources and training, which is one of the most important part of this project. We also have achieved mapping of industrial energy and resource hotspots database of industrial high energy intensive resource and waste producing industrial process. We also develop that one. And we have meetings, regular meetings with several stakeholders. Thank you for listening.
On va passer directement aux questions. Nous avons 20 minutes de questions et les différents panélistes pourront directement élever les questions. Juste le panel de cette session, nous avons pu passer la CEDEAO. Nous avons eu l'occasion de passer un revue différents programmes d'éducation énergétique dans l'industrie, mais aussi concernant l'éclairage et les appareils électroménagers. Nous avons eu des organisations telles que le projet international 3, le 2010, qui nous offre la possibilité, avec notre discussion, d'apprendre dans le domaine du 3 et dans le domaine de l'éducation énergétique. Nous avons aussi à avoir des informations de la part d'un professionnel sur l'efficacité énergétique dans l'industrie du bois. Nous avons une très belle expérience du Ghana en matière des appareils électroménagers. Nous avons vu aussi que les régions sœurs de l'Afrique de l'Est et de l'Afrique australe est en jeu de programme d'éducation de l'éclairage des appareils dans l'éducation énergétique des appareils électroménagers. Nous voyons qu'il faut apprendre cette région-là qui est encore. Sur ce, on va ouvrir la partie des questions. Tous ceux qui veulent prendre la parole.
Bon, merci. Moi, c'est Bouka Michel. Je viens du Tchad, ancien ministre de pétrole de l'énergie du Tchad. Je vais dans ce cadre, dans un premier temps, remercier ceux qui m'ont invité en particulier l'exécutif de l'écrit en Occident. J'avoue que j'ai assisté à plusieurs thématiques. Et la thématique sur l'efficacité énergétique m'intéresse beaucoup. En ce sens, à double sens. La première est que M. Lee, un industriel, a fait une très bonne expérience. Je voudrais demander dans ce carnet d'adresse, est-ce qu'en matière de l'efficacité énergétique dans la zone, je viens d'une région très chaude, hein, le Sahel, c'est une région extrêmement chaud, où on consomme beaucoup de froid. Est-ce qu'il y a eu une possibilité déjà d'avoir des réfrigérations, le système de réfrigération avec le système solaire? C'est la première question. La deuxième question, M. Charles Diarra, je travaille avec lui, je le connais plus de 10 ans dans le cadre de nos fonctions. Nous avons eu à mettre en place une politique énergétique de Tchad. Maintenant, le problème qui se pose est que, est-ce que dans l'étiquetage des systèmes de réfrigération, dans certains pays, on utilise les climatiseurs Windows et les climatiseurs les split. Alors, comment vous avez fait par l'expérience des autres pays à faire disparaître les climatiseurs Windows qui consomment beaucoup d'énergie en matière de l'efficacité énergétique? Merci. Okay, I'm Hector Tepe from the PRAＩA Institute. Thank all the panelists for their presentation. I have 2 questions. The first question concerns the country of the ECOWAS. We can see that only Ghana and Nigeria are very active in terms of energy efficiency. For example, the West African Economic and Monetary Union countries, they are launching many national projects and making many national plans for renewable energy efficiency. The base year was 2010, and the potential was declared for 2020, 2030, and 2050. But actually, they failed to achieve the potential for 2020, and 2030 is close, but they are struggling also to achieve those potential. So, as we have some who did some good efforts, like Ghana, for example, I want to know what are the main challenges that make those countries fail to achieve those potential energy efficiency, and feel also or are struggling or are slow in the process of achieving energy level. Because if I remember in the presentation of Mr. Diawara, only Ghana, Benin, and from where I know, also Cote d'Ivoire are doing some good effort to be in line with the standard that were defined by the UN. So I want to know what are the main challenges and what is being done backstage in terms of personal efforts, in terms of technical assistance from the equipment, and in terms of information.
Vous pouvez arrêter maintenant. On a bien compris votre question.
Ok, j'ai une deuxième question, s'il vous plaît. La deuxième question, c'est
rapidement.
Oui, rapidement. So my second question is what is being done on the side of the users? Because from what I see, all the solutions are technical, regulatory, and institutional. But what is being done in the part of the users? Because one of the negative outcomes of the energy efficiency is the rebound effect. If the saturation of the appliances increase, although they can be efficient, if many people use them and with lack of sensitization, the rebound effect can be a negative outcome of the energy efficiency, and the European countries have experienced that. So what is being done in terms of the role of the users in those?
Merci beaucoup. Une dernière question, un peu plus de temps.
Bonjour, les félicitations au panel. Donc, je vais aller très rapidement à une question, peut-être un peu compléter celle du précédent orateur. Félicite l'ambassade de la présentation de Chacune sur le travail effectué par l'équipe de ce domaine. J'ai trouvé l'institut. Ma question est simple. À quand une uniformisation normative et besoin d'une école, vous avez parlé de la volonté d'expérience de Ghana qui travaille à toucher et ça fait qu'ils sont en faire des expériences. Et à quand une école qui centralisera à la suite des écoles, cette possibilité d'aller rapidement à l'urbanisation.
Ok, merci beaucoup. Je voudrais, avant de passer, c'est fini, hein? C'est la toute dernière question.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Camilla. I'm an Eurocarbon and Sustainability Consultant. So I have a question for Ms. Karen from NIDA. So I work in a few years now in decarbonization projects in London. So I wanted to know what are the sectors in NIDA are willing to decarbonize and how if you have frameworks that can be adjusted to the ECOWAS region and the different supply chains that you are willing to consider as well. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Avant de passer la parole aux différents panélistes, je voudrais répondre à la question sur ce qui est fait au niveau de la sensibilisation. En donnant l'exemple de la Côte d'Ivoire, la Côte d'Ivoire a élaboré une stratégie de sensibilisation qui s'aligne sur la politique de l'âge. Et à ce niveau, par exemple, cette année, il y a une grosse campagne qui est d'ailleurs en cours de sensibilisation et qui fait focus sur la climatisation, la réfrigération et les lampes. Comment choisir un climatiseur, comment choisir un réfrigérateur, comment l'exploiter de sorte à réaliser des économies d'énergie. Cette campagne-là se fait à travers des affiches dans différentes villes, des affiches sur 12 mètres carrés, et des spots télé. Voilà l'expérience de la présidente que je voulais partager en matière de sensibilisation.
Can I just say something very quickly, like example, the clinical project that I showed, which is more or less making some one of the users actually air conditioning system. We are planning a way and looking for the potential partner to play in sub-Saharan countries. So something that people can use their own telephone to visualize videos to see how to use better the air conditioning system.
Very much. I think there were two questions I heard I'm going to respond to. One was why do you think that some countries that have started so early are still not there yet? And I think the answer is not only one, but it really includes, and that's what we always try to promote. Energy efficiency is not an incremental and one-stop activity. And this is what often happened in the past. I mean, light bulbs have been changed as a demand-side measure, but the next time the light bulb breaks, the consumer goes to the market and buys again the cheapest one available. So we have to make sure that all these low-quality products that Jorge was talking about, they are banned from even coming into the market. And when the consumer goes into the shop, what he finds is an affordable and energy efficient product. So it's this holistic transformational approach, which I personally believe has not been implemented in many countries. And also it was often a very individual country driven. And I think again, Ghana can tell the story that if one country alone goes the journey, it's very difficult to control the borders, and it's a very small market. So the prices of energy efficient products are coming down, for example, much better if we have a regional harmonized approach, where we all of a sudden have 300 million people who are demanding energy efficient products and services. So I think this is at least one of the key barriers that we have identified, that often it was incremental measures, changing bulbs, but not changing regulations, not focusing on enforcement. Even in the ECOWAS region, I think, Charles, we started in 2012, right, to adopt the first regional standards for efficient lighting. But then probably much more effort we need to put on really assisting countries with implementation and enforcement at national level. And this is what we are now taking as a lesson learned in the ELA project that Dennis has presented. Much more support needs to come to enforcement. There's good standards, good policies around that can be adopted, but the enforcement is where it's often lagging. And then maybe a very short answer to the last question, which sectors are we going to decarbonize? And I think we have to differentiate into a low carbon transformation of the industrial sector as well. Where we are going to look always at the country in the diagnostic of what is the dominant, what are the dominant industries, what are industrial structures in the countries, and then basically work at an industry to industry, space. I think all the approaches that have been well elaborated, audits, an audit will not be enough. Industries tend not to act based on audit. And that's another element again, with this incremental activity of operate audits will not necessarily lead. So it's really